On a cold, grey February morning, I looked at my doll making supplies and thought, I just want to make something fun. So I decided to make a starry cat girl with cute whiskers and a long poseable tail. If you just found me, I'm Jo. I'm a full-time doll artist based on a narrowboat in Wales. I'm making a 19cm doll, so she's going to be quite tiny. The cat tail is basically a pipe cleaner inside a long tube of fabric. The fluff on the pipe cleaner pads it out, and the wire makes it poseable. I want the tail fabric to coordinate with the dress, so this star print is perfect. The tiny stars are just the right size for a narrow tail. I'm stuffing the rest of the pieces with some polyester fibre. The head, body and hands are a light grey shade with a slight purple undertone. The cat ears will be left unstuffed. I thought about making the ears from the star print, but I want to use this pinky purple yarn for the hair, so I decided to make the ears from the same fabric as the head, so they stand out against the hair. I attached the tail by making a small hole in the back of the torso. I glued the end of the pipe cleaner into the hole, then ladder stitched the fabric around it. Now, boots or shoes? She's so tiny, I feel like she needs some cute dainty footwear, so I'm going to give her some shoes. I've mixed a purple shade in acrylic paint with some fabric medium. I might paint some laces on those later, but I'm going to let them dry a bit first. I'm attaching the head with a button joint. The jointing thread is held in place by 2 buttons. The first button goes in the middle of the back, where it'll be hidden by the dress. The other button goes on top of the head. The tension between them holds the head securely while allowing it to tilt to either side. I've added some cream coloured laces to the shoes. Now those are all dry, I can attach the legs to the body. The legs just need a stitch at each side to hold them in place. I fasten them off at the side of the hip. The stitches and knots will all be hidden by the clothing. I'm shading around the eye area with Derwent Chromaflow pencils. I start with some dark brown and black, blending it as I go with the blending pencil to deepen the colour and soften the edges. A lot of this will be hidden behind the buttons, but I like the dark shadow behind the buttonholes and the smooth gradient that shows around the rim of the buttons. It gives the eyes more depth. I think that just needs a bit of purple around the outside. That'll need a couple of coats of fixative spray. I'll come back to the face later. I ladder stitch the ears to the head with some extra strong upholstery thread. Most of the hand stitching on my dolls is done with either Gutermann Extra Strong or Gutermann Top Stitch. The Extra Strong is a bit thinner and smoother, so it's good for closing seams and fixed joints where I don't want it to show too much. The Top Stitch is thicker, so it's ideal for jointing with beads and buttons, and of course for sewing on button eyes. I've chosen some 15mm dark brown coat buttons for the eyes. I position them in the centre of the shaded area and stitch them through to the back of the head so they sit nice and tight to the face. I'm drawing on the face detail with Derwent Line Maker pens. I start with my usual gothic swirls around the eyes, then she needs a cat nose and mouth. I'm keeping the lines quite simple for this one. I'll be adding some 3D whiskers later, so she doesn't need too much. I'll just add a bit of colour to the mouth. Blend with a burnisher pencil, then it'll need setting with fixative spray. I've made the arms from the same striped fabric as the legs. I think it kind of makes her look like a tabby cat. Those are jointed with some antique silver finish metal beads. I used the beads at the top to joint them to the shoulders, then fasten off the thread under the back of the dress. The last time I used my felting tool, I was felting with flax fibre, which is quite coarse and can cause a bit of wear on the needles. So to be on the safe side, I'm changing the needles before I start felting the hair. This is the Clover pen style tool, which takes 3 needles. I'm using it with Heidi Feather's 38 gauge felting needles. As always, links will be in the description. The yarn I'm using is from the Signet Super Chunky Metallics range. This is 100% acrylic. When it's unravelled, it has very fine silky fibres with a lovely shine. The fibres are also really long in this yarn, so you can achieve quite long wavy hairstyles. I keep felting rows of yarn until I've covered most of the head. Then I try and shape it around the ears so there won't be any fabric left showing through. Now it's time to unravel it all and give it a good brush. Now she just needs some whiskers. I've got some waxed linen thread for these. Again, this is from Gutterman. I was undecided whether to go with grey or white, but in the end I felt like she needed something delicate, so I'm using the white thread. I always get a bit nervous about sticking a doll needle into the face at this stage. I take the threads through to the back of the head and leave them quite long. I find that running the thread through hair straighteners first helps to straighten it out and makes it easier to work with. If you're enjoying watching this little one take shape, don't forget to hit the like button and let me know. This helps the video get seen by more people. You can also subscribe if you like so you don't miss the next one. Once I've got all the whiskers in place, I tie all these threads together at the back. Then I can needle felt a bit of the hair fibre over the knot to secure it. Those just need a quick trim and a press with the hair straighteners and she's all done. I've named this little one Lexi Star Cat. If you like this little cat girl, here's another one I made last year that I think you'll love. Go watch that one now and I'll see you next time. Bye!